Hi, everyone. This is Cassandra Williamson coming to you from a very rainy and stormy hollow in eastern Kentucky. It's holler, the way they say it around here, Kurt local vernacular. Okay. From the holler in eastern Kentucky. Okay, yes, you may hear the rain outside because I don't have my studio is not soundproof. It's insulated, but not soundproof. So you're going to have to listen to rain and probably thunderstorms. I don't know if you can hear it or not. Put a comment over there in chat if you can. Let me know if you're hearing it over the system. All right. I know I've got a pretty good microphone here, so hopefully it's picking up all the extraneous noise too, right? So what do we want to talk about today? Hmm. This is how I feel about it really today because whatever, whatever. All right. Because this morning I was speaking with one of my friends from down in Florida, and we were talking about that. She mentioned a different thing, asked me what I was going to be talking about today, and I told her, I said, no, just whatever. I don't know yet. Whatever comes to mind at that point in time, and we'll see what the news has to say along the way. But we do know a couple of news stories are percolating out there right now. One of them is that Israel has voted to their cabinet has voted to take full control of Gaza, and I'm with them on it. You know why? You know why? Because so far the locals there in the Gaza Strip have not refuted and refused and tried to remove Hamas from controlling the area. Hamas is still there and still operational. So, and Hamas, you know darn well, Hamas is a terrorist organization. They want the elimination of Israel. They want the elimination of any people that disagree with them, including people like me, and others in this country. They'll throw us off of buildings. We know that. That's why I don't support Hamas. Now, the people in Palestine who are not Hamas, yeah, fine, good people. I'm up with that. I'm good with that. But they've got to stand up and put an end to Hamas. And right now, Israel doesn't see that happening. So their their cabinet has voted to occupy Gaza. You know what the next step is? Well, Trump's already said he'd take it over from them. I disagree with that, but I do understand why Israel would want complete control of that place because, like I said, Hamas is a terrorist organization. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's a Iran-backed terrorist organization, and just like the Houthis down there in Yemen. So definitely some horrible, horrible, horrible ideologies behind all this stuff. But they believe it and they think that they're sincerely right. And their good book says that they're sincerely right. But I happen to think that their good book is wrong, vastly wrong, or at least their interpretation of it. So there's no reason to exterminate one group of people simply because, you know, whatever. I mean, this stuff goes way back, a long way back there. Okay, the animosity between them. So the other big story is one that I'm just now seeing actually, and I think I did recall seeing something earlier today about it. But it's that Secretary of Defense Hegseth is ordering the Pentagon to cut senior generals, senior leaders in the military by 20%. Now, there's a lot of probably excess at the top. Doesn't need to be there. I get it. I understand it. But I'm concerned about how he will decide to remove them, the process, and who he removes. Because I know his thinking. I understand his thinking. Oh, should I say it out loud? Yeah. If you're a woman, lo and behold, you don't belong in power positions over men. That's not biblical. That's what they believe. Don't believe it? Study up on what he believes, his ideological beliefs. Okay. Whew. So, whatever are we going to talk about next? Anybody have a comment down there you want to put in the chat box? I will say this: I spent the weekend doing a lot of redoing over on the website. Let me see if I can get the website up here. Put some captions up for you and see if I can find something there. Go right there, www.cassandra-llc.com, and check it out. I've made some improvements to it. They're kind of nuanced in some ways, and some are very overt. One of them is like there's a free plan for subscription, and most of the people, just about all the people who have so far signed up to on the website to stay up to date with what we're doing, those are all free. But I did add in 2 levels of subscription options because the free level of subscription doesn't give you access to the research and in-depth analyses sections. Okay, what you're seeing over on the blogs are a summary, an executive summary, usually something like that, of what I'm thinking in a larger research type thing. And I know I can get wonky and academic and all of that kind of thing out there. And I understand that. And a lot of people don't like that, but I am who I am. Just bear with me. And it stopped raining. I'm going to tell you, it was cold out today. Geez, I had to take Mom out to the doctor and for a Doppler scan of her legs. And, we came out and it was raining and it was cold up here. Jeez, it was crazy. So over on the website, the research and in-depth analysis section actually is the foundation that you see with all the blogs. Okay. You can go over there and check it out, find out what's going on the website. And there's a monthly subscription and an annual subscription that gives you access to the more in-depth things. And they are seriously more in-depth. They are academic. Those things are academic. Some of them are opinion. Most are strictly, deeply academic. Okay. Let me give you a rundown of some of the titles. Actually, I can share the page here if I can get the right screen up. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull up another screen. We'll go share a screen and pull this away from that one. And we'll put that as a whole screen there. We'll go right there in just a second. Let me hold on 1 second, everybody. Stay with me. Stay with me. I'm going to go over to the website and then share a screen. I want to show you what we've done over there a little bit. Kind of do this, okay? All right, share screen. Window. This one. Share. Okay, right now you're looking at the beautiful lady over on the right there. I don't know who that is. That picture, by the way, for those of you who are curious about that picture, was taken in the White House at a dinner a number of years ago. And Biden was president. And we were sitting there. I was sitting there and had somebody take that picture. And I got to dance with a good dear friend of mine, which was kind of weird, dancing in the White House, because we were having this dinner and there's a recognition and it's fun, a lot of stuff going on. And I turned to my friend and I said, "Hey, do you think anybody has ever danced here in the White House?" And she said, "I don't think so. I've never heard of that." I said, "I'm sure they have. It's just not been recorded." So I turned to another friend who is the president of GLAMA, I think, one of those organizations. But she was standing there and got her to take a little video clip of me and my friend dancing. But this was right after that image you see there. So anyway, I changed the front of this image. You see the little thing in the middle is the Explorer, talking about the path forward. But over on the menu button, now over here on the menu button, you've got the research section. The research section, the only way to access the research section is to have either a monthly paid subscription or an annual subscription. And they are just like pennies. It's $3.99 a month and a lot less annually, obviously. But that gives you access to this research section, which has that in-depth analyses. Now the page that I'm on, I can open this up. So I'm going to go open that up in just a second and show you. The About section, wait for that to load up. That's a little bit, very brief thing about me. I've got to change the Learn More button at the bottom. Okay. But you get the idea. You can go over there and check out this thing. So let's go look at what you're actually looking for. I've got videos on here, and video, there is a live feed from YouTube onto the video page there. So you can actually watch this news story live on the website. Okay. And obviously the blogs is where all this stuff's located. Let me go over to this one really quickly and I'll show you who's there. What's there? That's the one I sent out this afternoon. If you got that one, great. If you didn't, that's great too. Check it out. That's a blog post, news summary today. I did a little news summary of different things that were going on with gender, DEI, transgender, military. And I said, whatever. And I put to my friend's suggestion of using whatever there on that shirt and that person. It's an AI generated image. That's just so cool. And then Beyond the Surface, unpacking the HHS report on transgender healthcare. That's over there. You can go check that out too. Scoop, HHS report on gender dysphoria was released today. Understanding conservative stand transgender rights. All of it. The SPOIL system. The SPOIL system is really fascinating. And this is just a brief introduction to the actual full report that's in the research page. So let's go up here to the research page. I'm going to show you how this operates so that you can go in there and check things out if you have the inclination to get into it in a deep, deep way. Okay. So let's click on the research and give it a second to load up. Now, the reason it's black in the background, by the way, it's not ordinarily black. It's white. Okay. Just so you know, I don't know if you're seeing it as white. Let me know in the chat what color you're seeing the background as, but the website is white in the background mostly. It's black here because I've got my contrast settings changed on the monitors so that they don't glare in my face so much. That's the learning process. But anyway, so you can go right here into the research section. You can see my cursor moving around right there. Yeah, there it is. I put little images beside each one. This one is what motivates President Trump. And what I did was I paid for a subscription to Gemini, which is Google's. Gemini's advanced AI system. And I asked the AI to go in and help me find or help me to understand better the psychology and the motivators and motivations of President Trump. What drives him? Okay. It's not fascism. It's not that kind of thing. It's not authoritarianism per se, but the thing that drives him the most is, wanting to win at all costs and then stomping on the victor, stomping on those who would dare challenge him. And, that's a different kind of nuanced difference between authoritarianism and all of the other isms out there that would define someone's way of thinking and operating. Well, in this particular case, he's motivated by getting the most that he possibly can. And he's always been that way. Okay. That's just the way it is with him. I remember stories about him back in the 80s. I read about the story 80s. I read those stories in the 80s as a plebe or a freshman at the U.S. Naval Academy. We had to read a page story and a sports story every day and be able to talk about it at the drop of a hat. A senior, an upperclassman could come along and go, "Hey, what'd you read on the front page today?" You can rattle off, and then before you even finished telling the title, they would go, "What'd you read on the sports section?" "Oh, what's the 9th general order?" That's the first year at the Naval Academy. But anyway, so what motivates President Trump? Okay, so that's a very interesting read. The next one I have down through here is media sentiment analysis. Now, the little image has got sunny and storms. Okay, a lot like what's happening around me right now here in this beautiful holler in Eastern Kentucky. And you can scroll down through here, pro-Palestinian sentiment on college campuses, future of transgender Americans under Trump. Now, this particular case, what I did was I asked the Google Gemini AI Advanced, I said, "Hey, review where President Trump and his administration stands and their stance on transgender people in America today. And project from that what you think the possible futures could be." And that's what this did. This is a very thorough paper. Okay. I mean, the research that went into this, I mean, the system, the AI actually reviewed hundreds and hundreds of websites and documents and papers and all kinds of things and correlated it with the Project 2025 policy document and all of these kind of things to project what the future might look like for the next 2 or 3 steps for transgender people in the country. It's well worth your time. That one is a fascinating read, folks. And then the next one is conservative stance on transgender rights between 2023 and 2025. All right. Political affiliation and child abuse. Somebody had raised that not long ago. They were saying that it's got to be the Democrats, or it's got to be the Republicans, or no, actually it comparatively corresponds with the whole population at large. So, but anyway, that's an interesting read, and it's a thorough analysis. This AI model is just crazy good at digging up all kinds of things. And the next one is something that over on LinkedIn, a person had commented on one of my friends' pages about neuroevolution and neurodiversity and things like that. And this person is a PhD, a doctor of neuroevolution. And it was fascinating what they had written, particularly in relation to the way the mind works and how the body may have evolved to be where it is today, and even with gender identity and gender dysphoria and all of those kind of things. So this that I did actually digs into that a pretty good bunch. Okay, it digs really far into it. I mean, the system did a great job. I wish I'd had this in college. I know you're not supposed to use AI, but I'm going to tell you, use the tools at your hand, particularly since we know they are digging into a lot of things. They aren't really restricted. I mean, a lot of the stuff, they actually have access to PubMed and Google Scholar and all these vast resources out there. And they can scan it far faster than you can, or a team of you can. In 20 or 30 minutes, they got a long report written out, and it is well written, folks. Check it out. Now, let's go down through here. This is status. The next one is status of gender care for active duty military, analysis of the report, transgender experience under Trump, genetics and epigenetics for transgender people. That's the last one down there. And that's actually a topic of interest to me. Okay, it really is. I'm fascinated by that because I know that there's a connection. There's too much otherwise. Anyway, so that's the research and analysis in the analysis sections. And every time I get some question somewhere, someone asks the question, then I, let me see. Yeah, okay. So let me put some messages up here. I'm done explaining things over here. I'm going to stop sharing. Okay. So the first one is from Radical Rodent. Radical Rodent. High prices and a need to plan ahead. That's right. That is the path forward there, Radical Rodent. Absolutely. That's what we need to be preparing for. Get ready for that because it is coming whether you want it to or not. Next one is from my cousin down in Nolens. Just look at his history with the Central Park 5. I fear the group he's got around him. Yeah, me too. But I don't stand in the way of moving forward either. We have to deal with what we have in front of us. We've got to address those things. We got to be ready for them. Good, bad, or indifferent. We still have to be ready. And then she also said, AI terrifies me. It terrifies a lot of people. And I understand that as well. I get it. We need, who was that wrote those things? Isaac Asimov or Robert Hyde? Isaac Asimov wrote the 3 Laws of Robotics in the sci-fi series. Okay. So yeah, it terrifies me too in that sense, but there's no putting the genie back in the bottle. It is too late for that. These large language models and the next thing that's coming, and it's getting there, getting close. Every day we're getting closer and closer to this, and that would be general intelligence for AI. And the current iterations of AI just use large language models and expand on that. They gather information and collect it all up, and then they can see how people write, see how people think, and what represents this and this. And it does a great job. It does a great job at it. But general intelligence, that's even more challenging to wrap your head around. All right, so what's the path forward, everybody? I appreciate everybody being on here today. Thank you so much. And for your comments, I appreciate it. For all the viewers who are showing up across the different platforms, from LinkedIn, Facebook, X.com, and YouTube. Thank you. And did I say Facebook? I think so. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. Come back again tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. We've got a lot more to do. See ya. Have a great evening. Bye-bye.